She destroyed our future in one sentence. We were sitting at my parents' table. She admitted she wanted other men. She said it like it was normal. Silence crushed the room. I didn't raise my voice. I ended the relationship instantly. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Most people bring wine to a family dinner, but my girlfriend brought a wrecking ball. While sitting with my parents, she calmly remarked Leo is a catch, but I'm still keeping my eyes open for other possibilities. As she held my hand, I slowly pulled away, stood up, and firmly stated, "It is time for us to leave." My parents sat there in total silence, watching her in disbelief as I escorted her to the car and drove her back without saying a single word. When she tried to make excuses at her doorstep, I simply told her, "You are officially free to look elsewhere now." And I walked away forever. Hey everyone, before we dive deeper into this story, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these kinds of life-turning narratives. Thank you. The clock on the dash hit 6:58 p.m. exactly on time. I straightened the bottle of white wine on the seat, Elena's favorite, and glanced over at Maya. She was lost in her phone, the screen light casting cold shadows across her face. Some random social media clip was playing. "Ready to head in?" I asked, my voice cutting through the silence. "Yeah, sure," she replied, her eyes never leaving the screen. "Give me a second to finish this." I watched her for a moment. She had been distant, almost unreachable, all week. When I brought it up before, she just shrugged it off as stress from the office. I trusted her. I always did. I had spent the whole day preparing, imagining a moment later tonight where I'd ask her to move in. I had it all figured out. My apartment was better suited for two, closer to her commute. It was the perfect logical progression. I had even rehearsed the pitch in my head. "Okay, let's do this," she finally said, tossing her phone away with a heavy sigh. She flashed a smile, but it felt hollow. Walking to the door felt like any other visit. The house smelled of home, lavender, slow-roasted chicken, and old wood. My mother, Elena, gave me a huge hug before turning to Maya. "You look lovely, dear. That dress is a beautiful choice." "Thanks, Elena," Maya replied, her social persona instantly switching on. She handed over the wine. My father, Arthur, came out of the kitchen, drying his hands to give me a solid handshake and Maya a welcoming pat on the shoulder. "The feast is almost ready. Make yourselves comfortable." We sat in the lounge. The nice glassware was out, and jazz played quietly in the background. It looked like the future I wanted. Maya sat right next to me, her leg touching mine. My nerves started to fade. Everything felt right. Dinner was incredible. Arthur's signature roast. The talk flowed easily. Dad asked about my tech projects. Mom asked Maya about the corporate event she was organizing. "It's going to be massive," Maya said, her energy picking up. "We even have a luxury spa retreat for the auction." I almost wanted to keep it for myself. Everyone laughed. She was the star of the table, and I was happy just to be near her. Then, Elena poured more wine and asked the big question. "So you two?" She started warmly. "We don't want to be nosy, but any major steps coming up?" "You two look so settled." This was it. My heart raced. I felt Maya's hand take mine under the table. Her skin felt chilly. I thought it was a gesture of support. I opened my mouth to start my prepared speech, but Maya beat me to it. She leaned in, her voice becoming strangely clinical. "You know, Elena, that's an interesting point," she began. She looked at my mother, then my father, then down at our hands. She gave my hand a small, condescending tap. He's the kindest man I've ever met. So dependable, so steady," she said. She made steady sound like a boring chore. "He's like a very safe, reliable heater." A chill ran down my spine. She continued, looking out the window as if she was bored with the room. "But I'm just at a stage where I need to be absolutely certain. I'm still youngish." She let out a sharp laugh that sounded like breaking glass. "I feel I owe it to myself to see what else is out there. To keep exploring my options." You get that, right? The world didn't stop, but it became terrifyingly clear. I noticed a tiny crumb on the cloth. I saw the light die in my mother's eyes. I saw my father's hand freeze midair. I felt the weight of Maya's hand on mine. It felt like lead. Exploring my options. The phrase just sat there, poisonous. She had told my parents, the people who raised me, that I was just a temporary stop. A comfortable chair she was sitting in while looking for a throne. A heavy silence took over. Only the faint music from the other room broke it. I looked at her manicured hand over mine. In that moment, it felt like the most disrespectful thing I had ever endured. Quietly, I pulled my hand away. The sound of my chair sliding back was like a crack of thunder. I stood up, my mind working with cold precision. I looked at Arthur and Elena. Mom looked heartbroken. Dad's jaw was set tight. We should go, I said. My voice was flat, unrecognizable. No anger, just finality. I walked around, pulled out Maya's chair, and looked at her. Her confident mask was finally slipping into confusion. Leo, what are you doing? We are leaving, I repeated. I caught my father's eye. He gave me a tiny, solemn nod of respect. I led a flustered Maya out of the house. I grabbed her bag, said a quick thank you to the air between my parents, and walked out. I left the life I had imagined sitting cold on that dinner table. The night air was freezing. Maya finally snapped. Leo, stop! That was embarrassing. You're overreacting. I didn't say a word. I got in, started the engine, and waited. She stood there for a second before slamming into the passenger seat. Are you for real? She hissed. You dragged me out over one comment. I drove away. It wasn't a small comment, Maya, I said, keeping my eyes on the dark road. My voice remained eerily calm. Oh, please, you're being so dramatic. She yelled. I was just being honest. Isn't that what you want? Honesty, I echoed. The word felt like dust. Yes. I love you, Leo, but love isn't everything. There's a big world. I have curiosities. Is it wrong to want to be sure? I turned the blinker on. The rhythmic clicking was the only heartbeat in the car. So, I'm a trial run, I said. It wasn't a question. No, don't twist it. You're my foundation. But foundations need to be tested to see what they can support. The selfishness of that thought was staggering. I gripped the wheel. You shame me, I said quietly. You turned 2 years of my life into a shopping trip. I did no such thing. She countered. You're just scared because your perfect little plan got a dent in it. For the next 20 minutes, she didn't stop. It was a whirlwind of excuses and insults disguised as personal growth. I just need to find myself. You're too content. This is how modern relationships work. You're so sweet, but sweetness is boring. I just drove. I let the words hit the windshield and slide off. I realized then that this was who she truly was. I had just been too blinded by the warmth to see the storm. We reached her place. I parked, the engine idling in the silence. She looked at me, waiting for a fight or an apology. I unbuckled, walked around, and opened her door. One last act of a gentleman. She stepped out, searching my eyes. Leo, talk to me. I looked at the person I thought I'd grow old with. I felt nothing. Just empty space. She reached for my arm and I stepped back. That was the first time she looked truly worried. My withdrawal was deliberate. I met her gaze one last time. You are free to explore now, I said softly. I got back in and shut the door. In the mirror, I saw her standing on the sidewalk, looking small. I didn't look back again. With every mile, the car felt lighter. The silence in my flat was different now. It used to be a waiting room for her. Now it was my sanctuary. I didn't crash. I just stood there and breathed. My phone lit up. It was Mom. Leo, honey. I'm okay, Mom, I said, surprising myself with how steady I sounded. It's over. There was a pause of shared pain. What she said. I know, I interrupted. I just can't talk about it yet. Okay, she whispered. We love you. I hung up and went to work. I blocked her number. I unfollowed her on every platform. In 3 minutes, she was digitally erased. I wasn't being petty. I was cleaning. That first night, I slept perfectly. The second night, I woke up at 3 a.m. with her words looping in my head. But I didn't feel hurt. I felt analytical. I saw the scene as a spectator. By dawn, the feeling was gone. I didn't take time off. I went to the office, I wrote code, I sat in meetings. My logic still worked. That was my anchor. I joined a real gym, a place for sweat and heavy iron. I hired a coach. The first time I lifted a weight that felt like it would break me, I thought of her calling me sweet. I finished the rep. The sound of the weights hitting the floor was better than any song. I told my friends it was over. No drama, just moving on. I turned down the pity drinks and called an old friend, Julian. We grabbed burgers and talked about sci-fi and his failing startup. No audits, no drama. I finally took that advanced coding course I'd been putting off. My nights had a new rhythm: train, study, cook. I learned to sear steak perfectly. I ate in peace. Months passed. The betrayal became a scar, visible but painless. Then, a year later, the first echo of karma arrived. I was with Julian when he checked his phone. Sorry, he said. Just some gossip. I didn't ask. He continued anyway. So Maya's new life is intense. Apparently, she found her option. A guy named Damon drives a flashy car, calls himself an entrepreneur. Julian watched my reaction. It's a mess. One day they are in a 5-star hotel. The next she's crying because he won't commit. Her friends are done with her. I felt a faint ripple of recognition. The bonfire she wanted was burning her. Huh, I said. Julian laughed. That's it? Just huh. I looked at the rain. She wanted excitement. Sounds like she got it. You've changed, man, Julian said. The old Leo would have tried to save her. That man died at a dinner table, I replied. A few weeks later, I saw her best friend, Sarah, at the store. She looked exhausted and gave me a hollow wave. Later, Julian told me they had a falling out over Damon. Then, out of curiosity, I looked up Damon's business. It was all a front. His company had been shut down for fraud months ago. The bonfire had run out of fuel. Then came the text. An unknown number on a Sunday morning. Leo, it's Maya. I know I shouldn't. I made a huge mistake. Can we talk? I felt nothing. I saw the typing bubbles appear and disappear. I put the phone down, finished my coffee, and watched the birds. 2 hours later, please, I didn't delete them. I saved the number under Do Not Answer and blocked it. It was just maintenance. A week later, a voicemail. Her voice was broken. Leo, I'm sorry. I was stupid. You were my home and I burned it down. Please call me. I'm lost. I archived it as a data point. A reminder of the difference between her ego and her reality. The final confrontation happened on a Thursday. My buzzer rang, insistently. I eventually answered just to stop the noise. Leo, I know you're there. I'm downstairs. I let her in. I stood in my doorway like a wall. She looked terrible. The vibrant energy was gone. Why won't you talk to me? She demanded. You got what you wanted, I said. Your freedom, but I'm hurting. She cried. Damon was a lie. I have nothing left. I stayed silent. Don't you see? It was a mistake. Stable is good. You were right. I want to come home. This isn't your home, I said. Her face shifted from sadness to that old entitlement. What is wrong with you? She snapped. Are you really this cold now? I said I was sorry. There it was. She wasn't sorry for hurting me. She was sorry her plan failed. I looked at the stranger. I don't want anything from you, Maya, nothing at all. I shut the door. Fast forward to a sunny Saturday at the farmer's market. The air smelled of fresh bread. I was holding hands with Clara, a woman who was genuine and grounded. We were laughing about tomatoes when I felt a stare. Maya was 10 feet away. She looked put together but fragile. She saw us. She saw our joined hands. Clara noticed. Friend of yours? She asked. Someone I used to know, I said. Maya walked over. Leo, can we just get coffee? Talk? Clara stepped back slightly to give us space, her presence a quiet support. No, I said. It wasn't mean. Just a fact. Why? She whispered. I miss us. I looked at her and realized I was finally truly finished. I didn't want to hurt her, so I just told the truth. Maya, I don't think about you. I wish you well, but Don't contact me again. I turned to Clara, my voice softening. Let's go find that sourdough you liked. Clara smiled. Lead the way. We walked into the crowd, into the light. I didn't look back. The past was a book I had already finished reading. I was free. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.